All right, let's get right into it. Pakistan has officially announced its T20 World Cup squad, and wow, it is an absolute bombshell. We're talking about some truly shocking exclusions, controversial comebacks, and a few high-stakes gambles. So let's break it all down.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll dive into the biggest surprises right off the bat. Then, we'll try to solve the riddle of why Pakistan's top wicket-taker got dropped. We'll look at the controversial return of Babar Azam, meet the new faces shaking things up, and then we'll tie it all together with the all-important Sri Lankan context. Let's do it.
Okay, so picture this. The press is all gathered at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. The selectors walk up to the stage, and you could just tell from the atmosphere this wasn't going to be some run-of-the-mill squad announcement. The tension was real.
And then, bam, the first bombshell drops. Haris Rauf, Pakistan's all-time leading wicket-taker in T20 internationals, is out. Just like that. Their most successful bowler statistically is not going to the World Cup.
Yeah, this was the headline that got everybody talking. I mean, how could it not? So, what was the official reason? Why would you drop a player with his track record? Let's dig in.
To really wrap your head around just how massive this decision is, just look at this number, 133. That's how many T20 international wickets Haris Rauf has taken for Pakistan. He isn't just a good bowler, he's literally the most successful one they've ever had in this format.
Which, of course, brings us to the one question every single fan is asking. Why? How on earth do you justify leaving a guy with that kind of resume out of your World Cup squad?
Well, the official answer from the selectors really boils down to one single word: strategy. Selector Aaqib Javed basically said that this was a purely tactical call, made specifically with the playing conditions in Sri Lanka in mind, since that's where Pakistan's going to play all of its games.
And here is where you can really see that strategy in action. The head coach, Michael Hesson, laid it out pretty clearly. The three seamers who did get the nod, Shaheen, Mirza, and Naseem, were picked because they're so versatile. He made a point of saying they can all bowl effectively at any point in the game. You know, the power play, the middle overs, and, crucially, at the death. On those slower Sri Lankan pitches, that ability to adapt is apparently worth more than just raw pace.
Okay, so from a huge exclusion to a really controversial inclusion, the return of former captain Babar Azam also sent some serious shockwaves, especially given all the talk about his recent form.
Now, this is where the selectors' justification gets, well, pretty interesting. When they were pressed on why they picked Babar over someone like Mohammad who actually has a much better record in Sri Lanka, they kind of sidestepped the direct comparison. Instead, they completely reframed the issue.
So what Aaqib Javed is saying here is that this wasn't really a Babar versus Rizwan decision. For them, the bigger picture was about building the most competitive batting lineup possible. And in their view, the coaches and the captains, Babar is an absolutely critical piece of that puzzle. And the new captain, Salman Ali Agha, he came out swinging in defense of his former skipper. He directly called out the media's criticism, waved off any concerns about his form in the Big Bash League, and just made it crystal clear. The only thing that matters is how he performs for Pakistan.
But you know, this squad isn't just about the established superstars. It's also about a whole new wave of talent, with quite a few players getting their first shot at a major international tournament.
I mean, check this out. A whopping 6 players in this squad are getting their first ever call-up for a major tournament. That is a massive injection of new energy right when the stakes are at their absolute highest.
And the whole wicketkeeper situation? Well, that had its own little drama. Coach Hesson actually revealed that Saib Zada Farhan was their original choice for backup keeper, but they got worried that the physical strain of keeping might make him an injury risk. So that forced their hand, and they made a late switch to bring in Hawaja Nafai for his explosive hitting.
And you can just hear the confidence from the coach in his final picks. He went out of his way to praise Usman Khan, calling him exceptional and saying his keeping has been even better than they'd hoped, which pretty much cemented his spot in the team.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here. Because honestly, you can't fully understand this squad unless you understand the unique political backdrop to where Pakistan is playing.
So because of a political standoff, this World Cup is using what's called a hybrid model. So even though India is a co-host, Pakistan won't be playing any games there. Instead, they'll play their entire tournament in Sri Lanka. And this isn't just a minor travel detail, it is the strategic foundation for this entire squad selection.
But when the captain was asked if playing in Sri Lanka was some kind of advantage, he completely shut that idea down. He was blunt about it. The venue doesn't matter. Winning is about playing better cricket. End of story.
So, after all the controversy, all the strategy, and all the surprises, let's finally meet the 15 players who will be carrying the flag for Pakistan at the T20 World Cup.
And here they are. You've got Salman Ali Agha as captain, then Abrar Ahmed, Babar Azam, Fahim Ashraf, Fakhar Zaman, Khwaja Mohammad Nafei, Mohammad Nawaz, Mohammad Salman Mirza, Naseem Shah, Sahib Zada Farhan, Sayam Ayub, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Shadab Khan, Usman Khan, and Usman Tariq. So there it is, a real mix of seasoned veterans and exciting new talent. And this is the team that's going to carry the hopes of a nation in Sri Lanka.
And so, that leaves us with a million-dollar question, doesn't it? The selectors have made their choice. They've picked a squad specifically tailored for Sri Lankan conditions, even if it meant leaving out some of their biggest stars. It's a massive, massive gamble. The only question now is, will it actually pay off and bring home the World Cup? Thanks for watching.